Welcome to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast.
Well, welcome to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Daniel Hayes, with Matt Baker.
Hey, that's me.
We are back from our hiatus. You can find us at avgffpod.com. You can go there, click the buttons, follow us on the socials. You can also listen to the podcast on the website itself. For all of you that have pushed our listens or downloads up over the off season, we do appreciate it. I don't know who you are. I hope you're still here, and I hope you enjoy what you hear and help us push those numbers up a little bit further. So we're going to kick it off this season with all the news that we didn't get to discuss. Some of it I think we probably did discuss, but I'm not going to try to remember everything that went down before we shut it down. So we're just going to kind of hit on all the moves that are fantasy significant and, you know, kind of break down our opinions on those and some of the coaching changes. So I guess we can go ahead and get right into it. Before we do that, how was your off season been thus far, Mr. Baker?
It's been pretty good. I don't know. You deal with the crazies and the people with their high aspirations of certain players and low aspirations of other players. I mean,
well, this is the time of year.
Yeah, you take advantage of what right now. It's all speculation. Yes. It's all in what you believe, and that's why I don't argue with anybody. It's like easier just to go, yep, than anything else. This
is my favorite time of year because you can get some really good deals done, especially when you get closer to the draft, when people start getting draft fever.
Yeah.
And we're right around the corner for that. We're going to start breaking down the prospects next week, right before we get into the draft. We'll try to squeeze in a mock draft before the draft, a rookie mock draft, but it might be after. We'll see how the time plays out. I do want to say, for those of you who may be listening for the first time or don't know all of our history, we're just two average dudes. We work regular jobs, live regular lives, and
kind of regular jobs. I mean,
and whatnot. We love football. We both play a lot of fantasy leagues, and we are fairly successful in those leagues. We play in very competitive leagues against people who know a lot about it, and we play in some who don't, and some more casual leagues. But
those are the ones we lose in.
Yeah, it's weirdly.
Yeah, no,
some of the leagues that I have the hardest trouble in are in the casual leagues. I don't know
beat
why.
Luck. You just can't beat luck. It just happens.
But yeah, so we just decided to do this as it was, you listen to a lot of fantasy podcasts out there, and there's all the analytics and all the data, which we do ingest in different ways, whether it be, through reels and all social media or other podcasts. So we do also take that information in, but we kind of ingest all of that and then play fantasy our own way as just two average guys who are just here to have fun and play fantasy. So that's kind of where we are and the idea behind this. So anyway, having said all that, we will get into it. We'll start off. This is going to be in order of divisions. So we're going to start out in the AFC East. And we're going to kick it off with the Buffalo Bills. Of course, in the offseason, the Buffalo Bills decided to get rid of their head coach, Sean McDermott, who got them to the playoffs almost every year, because I guess they felt like he just didn't do enough to get them to a Super Bowl. And they then promoted Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, to the head coach. So he is now the head coach and will still be the offensive coordinator. I didn't even write down who the offensive coordinator is because it's Joe Brady.
Yeah.
And so they're going to basically be running the same offense that they ran last year. Their major acquisition that they have had so far this season was DJ Moore. They picked him up in a trade with the Bears and got a 5th round, and they gave their 2026 second round. I personally think it's a great deal for them. I think he fills a tremendous need for them, and I think, my personal opinion, I've always been a big DJ Moore guy as a Panther fan. So I think his playing style, his demeanor, the way he goes about his business is perfect for Buffalo and that team. being I say you're a Buffalo fan, but you're really a Josh Allen fan. If he got traded to Denver tomorrow, I feel like you'd be a Broncos fan, you know?
I mean, maybe. I'm not a big fan of
Sean Payton.
old lips, yeah. But yeah, probably. I mean, and it's more, fan of the fandom of watching someone that everybody talked around you that they sucked and they weren't going to make it, and then all of a sudden he's doing Josh Allen stuff out there. Like, not saying I knew it, but I knew it. If that makes sense,
no. You were on it early as everybody was kind of like, oh no, he's going to suck, or he's not going to ever really amount to anything. So I will give you that, and you've made a lot of money off of that belief because you bought a ton of his memorabilia and cards and whatnot when he first came to the league because of your belief.
Deeply. Yeah, because I had the faith in it. So.
But to be fair, you did buy a bunch of Nathan Peterman's cards too,
and that was initially comical, because
I'm just fucking with you.
Playing both sides, devil's advocate. But I did not invest in Lamar, and I could have done the same thing with him, and I didn't because I didn't believe it. And he's proved me wrong. In the same breath, it's like not that I didn't think Lamar would be as good as he is now. I take that back. I didn't think Lamar was going to be as good as he is now.
Right.
Not that I didn't think he was going to be a good quarterback, if that makes sense.
Right.
But he's definitely come out here and made a believer out of me, no doubt. But yeah, so I accidentally became the Bills fan, and this DJ Moore ad is, I can't tell you since 2018. Since 2019 is probably when I really dove deep into the Bills and stuff. And in the last 7 years, this is probably the best receiver that they've actually gone out and got. I mean, draft or trade or any of that stuff. I mean, Stephon Diggs was a big ad in 2019, 2020. But that was like right at the cusp of Allen. That's what helped make Allen who he is, I think. And then once he was gone, there's been really nobody there of note. I mean, it's been Khalil Shakir's a great receiver, don't get me wrong, but he's not a number one. He's not a super elite receiver. He's not going to be a guy, So, but it's going to be nice to see that matchup though. That DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir, that's going to be amazing, I think. So, and
what DJ Moore brings to the table that Diggs obviously doesn't is he's not going to be a locker room problem.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to create division, and whatnot. He's thus far in his career has just been a guy who just shows up and does his job, does it very well, keeps his mouth shut for the most part, at least from what we've seen. And does what he does. So I think that'll also be great for that team and what he's able to do. And he's right there in that prime. This gives him an opportunity to get somewhere he's been trying to get his career and make the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl. And I think it gives them a big boost in that regard as well. So
it's definitely a huge addition. It's probably one of my favorite signings in a long time. I mean, realistically, for fantasy and for football.
Because as somebody in a lot of dynasties, I have some. I don't have a ton now, but I used to have a ton of DJ Moore. I wish this deal would have been done sooner before. I cut.
Before you start trying to cut ties and everything.
All right. Well, we were talking about this guy before, but we'll move on to the Miami Dolphins. We'll kick it off with their head coach. So their new head coach was the former defensive coordinator for the Packers, Jeff Hafley, and which means that he's not going to do anything with the offense. So they had to get an OC, and that's going to be Bobby Slowick. If you don't know who Bobby Slowick is, he was the OC for the Texans when C.J. Stroud was a rookie, and then C.J. Stroud's second year. So that first year, very good. Second year, not very good, and that's what got Bobby Slowick fired. So, Slowick had some terrible numbers as an OC that second year. And so we'll see how that progresses. But, what kind of offense they're going to run. But then they went and they signed Malik Willis to a 3-year, $67.5 million deal with 45 guaranteed. That is starter money. So they expect Malik Willis to come in and play and lead that team. It's fully guaranteed, and 22.5 of that was a signing bonus. So, this is a good deal for Malik. He's getting his thing, his chance. I am high on Malik, but we sat down because you're a bit more skeptical. I'm not going to say you don't think he's going to succeed. You just don't understand. You didn't see anything from him that made you think he's a guarantee to succeed.
The Dolphins definitely feel like they upgraded in getting Malik Willis and letting Tua walk and everything. And and I'm not going to say that's not the case, but I haven't seen enough out of Malik personally. Last year with Green Bay, he had some games. Don't get me wrong, they were great games. But any other time he started, even although be it with Tennessee, which we've seen so many quarterbacks lately with Tennessee that's just flopped. I mean, we watched Will Levis flop all over the place. Cam Ward looked good in
he looked
last year.
Way better in the back half of the season than he did in the first half.
But
once they changed the coaching,
it's still a situation. You know, you don't know the situation the quarterbacks are faced with, and that's what I feel about Malik. He was in a good spot with Green Bay, and he looked really good. I just hope that carries over into Miami. I just didn't see enough for me to trust 100%. Go get this guy. You know,
and I remember when we had this discussion initially when the deal was done, I was big on it. I'm like, dude, Malik Willis is going to be awesome. He, you know, I was on the hype train. And you're like, I just don't see it. And I'm like, dude, what did you not see? He was fucking lighting up the stat board. And then we went look at the stats, and I apparently I had an inflated idea. I mean, his stats weren't horrendous by any stretch of the imagination, but they weren't elite stat numbers. I mean, he's going to run the ball. He's going to get rushing touchdowns. He's an exceptional athlete. I think he's a great decision maker. And I think you know, I think there a little bit of it is I'm a big fan of Malik Willis, the person.
I mean, the athlete, I want to see everybody succeed. Don't get me wrong.
But I mean, I've seen like this dude is, from what I've seen, he's the kind of guy that like he would give literally the shirt off his back to help somebody in need, you know, and stuff like that. And so, you know, for me, I like to see people like that succeed, and then I saw him be successful, so that just kind of probably inflated what I think. But I'm still going to ride with him, and I know you're not like. You don't hope he doesn't succeed. It's just that you haven't seen. So if he goes out there and lights up the scoreboard the first couple of games and shows you something, then you're going to be on. It's just like Lamar. You weren't a Lamar hater.
Exactly.
You just, you know, it was something you didn't think that was going to work in the NFL with Lamar. And then he once he proved you wrong, you were like, this dude's fucking amazing.
He's my problem with Lamar was kind of his landing spot. I didn't think the Ravens were a good fit for his style, but they proved me entirely wrong.
Right.
It definitely changed around, and that's. And Malik, like I said, it would not surprise me if he comes out and he finishes next season as a top 5 quarterback. It really wouldn't surprise me. But it also would surprise me a lot less if he finishes 20th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that.
And it's just it's one of these where I think this is a guy that I think everybody's super inflated on, and it's hard for me to want to spend what people think they can get out of him at this moment, if that makes sense. If you want to take the risk, by all means, you know, do it. But just understand it's just that. It's a risk.
Some other moves that they've made, they traded away their star wide receiver. I can't believe him.
Oh, come on.
You're not gonna make me. Oh my God. Waddle. There it is. I knew I was gonna get there. They traded Jalen Waddle to Denver, and we'll talk about that when we get to Denver more. But some sneaky ads if you're in Dynasty, if you're looking for some dart throws, is maybe Tutu Atwell and Jalen Tolbert. They might actually still be out there on waivers. Although once they moved Waddle out, you know, anybody that was paying attention and
probably went and snatched him up.
Yeah, and then these moves were made where they signed Atwell and Tolbert, and then of course you got the second or third year player in Washington that's still there. People went and started snatching up receivers just because they're all dart throws now, and depending on what they're going to do in the draft. But
and Tua retired, or not Tua? Tyreek retired, right?
No, Tyreek just got cut.
He's just cut. Yeah. Okay. Well,
he's trying to get. Tyreek wants to go back to KC. And he's trying real hard, but KC right now has just ignored him.
Damn, what if he goes to the Bills? That would be
that would be terrible.
That would be amazingly terrible. I was watching some highlights on him yesterday too, man. That dude's so fast. Even still, like, it's insane to me. At freaking 32, 33 years old, he can. Yeah.
All right, the Patriots. The biggest signing that they've had is they signed Romeo Doubs to a 4-year, $70 million deal. So
another laughable contract to me.
Yeah, especially for the Patriots. They love doing that with wide receivers.
They do.
If you've got him in Dynasty, it was a big deal for you because that means, hey, they're going to give him a chance.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a problem with Doubs. I think he's a decent wide receiver. I think he's a very serviceable workman type receiver. He's not explosive. He is not somebody he's not, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, somebody that's going to go out there and just absolutely blow your mind. But he's a guy that can just go out there and catch you 8 or 9 balls for 70 yards and a touchdown, and do okay. I don't like it because I do think that Pop Douglas is a type of guy that is explosive. But apparently they don't feel that he is that the guy that's going to take them to the promised land. So we'll see how that plays. And then, of course, you got the head coach running around with journalists. I don't know if you caught that whole thing.
I've seen a little bit. I've been trying not to play too much into it.
Hold on.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
It's
So they got all that drama up there, but
you get the memes where it's like Bill Belichick's glad he's not the only Patriots head coach.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I try to play out of that. Like I don't want to be part of all that mess,
Diana
but-
Rossini did get let go of her job, so there is something
there's
behind
something
it.
there. Yeah.
She got let go, but that has nothing to do with this. So, the Patriots I think are going to be good again this year. I love Vrabel as a coach, and of course Drake May looked great, and then they went and got Dobbs. I think Dobbs does stabilize that wide receiver room.
Oh yeah, it's just another kooky piece to the wide receivers, in my opinion.
What is a kooky piece?
Well, it's like you got Keyshawn Boutte, who flashed and had games last year we thought was going to be better and bigger, and it just didn't turn up. Then you got Kyle Williams, which showed up a little bit here and there, and we thought was going to be better, and then they still got Mac Hollins, and who showed up here and there. It's like it's become this the wide receiver room of who's going to get what week kind of deal.
And you got this Chisholm kid who flashed last year, was a rookie.
Had it,
that everybody, like I went and made a couple minor trades to grab him just because I thought maybe he would get some opportunity last year, but he did not.
So it's like it's one of those when it comes to fantasy. Now I'm sure it's going to play out well on the football field and for them. But fantasy-wise, it makes it super tough.
A lot of miles.
Yeah, and you don't know
who.
who.
You still got Hunter Henry who's still there.
Yeah.
They're going to feed him.
And nobody's
targets.
the one. I don't care what they're paying Dobbs. If he's not getting open, he's not going to get the ball.
Right.
Like, they may try to force it to him, but how do you feel? Like, how comfortable do you feel drafting now a Patriots wide receiver? Like we think of that.
I mean, if I'm going to draft one, it's going to be Dobbs, but it's not going to be early.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
round maybe in redraft.
It makes it
before I
tougher.
even look at it.
I mean, I draft the second receiver for Vikings right now, even with Kyler Murray. I draft Addison before I draft Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's when you got these other teams that have this team's just so all over the place. It's tough. It makes it tough for fantasy, in my opinion. But I'll probably be wrong. Romeo will probably finish like wide receiver 3 on the season, and he'll have some miraculous backflip catch in the end zone off the shoulder of a corner.
Like, who's not explosive, bitch?
Exactly. He's going to have Daniel Hayes or just an average.
Oh, that would be
amazing on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, we explode. Yeah.
But that's just my thoughts, I mean, maybe we're talking into existence. Who knows?
All right, we're going to move on to the next team. So the New York Jets went out and got their quarterback.
Their franchise quarterback.
Franchise quarterback.
They got their franchise quarterback.
Yes. So they went and got Geno Smith. That's who Aaron Glenn wanted, and he's talked about how he's going to take him to the promised land.
Freaking full circle, man.
Yes.
Full fucking circle.
I do like Geno Smith in one respect that he's going to get Garrett Wilson the ball. I believe that.
No, yes.
There's not a whole lot of other options there that I'm really concerned about taking targets too much away from Garrett Wilson, and I believe Geno is going to try to do that. And then if they can get the targets and the offense can be just a little bit better than maybe Breece Hall, who they put the franchise tag on and have to pay him $14 million this year. If they don't trade him, there's still talks that he could still get traded. But if he's there, I was hoping he would leave and go somewhere else. But maybe Geno can make the offense good enough that if we can just get Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall viable, that would be great.
Yeah.
So
I think it could work out well for a quiet. I'm trying to grab everywhere. Mason Taylor too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, last year was tough. They had all kinds of rampant quarterback play, and who knows what was going to happen. But Mason Taylor still did decent for a rookie tight end, and I think we saw what Geno did with Brock Bowers. I mean, the option availability and that kind of not dump off really, but that short.
Yeah,
short
no, I mean
play.
Brock Bowers is a
freak
great
of
receiver.
nature. Yeah, no, but I'm not saying Mason Taylor's that, but I'm saying that Geno kind of likes that option, and I think it could work out well. And
Mason
you can get him
Taylor,
cheap right now.
the only thing that bothers me about Mason Taylor, and we've talked about this before, is his inability to break tackles. He is just not a tackle breaker, and so it's he's going to get catch and tackle. So But
if it's 12 of them,
but if he's getting 12, then
Garrett's going to get 32.
They will probably have to pass a lot.
They're going to have to throw a lot playing from behind and everything. So.
Yeah.
And Adnan Mitchell's still there too. Not just to bring it up in case people forgot. And not saying he's great, but he did kind of flash a little bit. With who was it? Old Man Rivers that's there now, or that was there.
Oh, the
Tyrod Taylor. There we go. It was Tyrod. So, but yeah,
it's all Old Man Rivers there now.
Apparently, yes, correct.
All right, that's enough time spent on the Jets.
Yeah, that's done.
All right, next is the Baltimore Ravens. They also made a coaching change, and they got rid of their Super Bowl winning coach. And decided to go with Jesse Mentor. He was the defensive coordinator with the Chargers last year. Who was that? They had a pretty decent defense. Jesse Mentor has been a pretty decent defensive coordinator. Well, but that means that Declan Doyle is going to be the OC. Now you ask, who is Declan Doyle? I didn't know. I had to go look it up. He was Ben Johnson's OC. The problem with that is Ben Johnson is his own OC. So Declan Doyle was just a guy who just did whatever Ben Johnson said.
Yeah.
The good news is that if he comes in running the same type of offense that Ben Johnson ran with the Bears and with the Lions previously, and he can do it half as well, then that gives a little bit of hope for the Ravens. I mean, they still have Lamar. They still have Zay Flowers. They still have a very good offense. They still have a very good defense. And so I think they're going to be competitive. We just hope that this regime change doesn't shut that offense down, because we need to bounce back year from Lamar last year, dealing with the injuries and poor play. And that's what happens when you get drafted number 1 overall in our home fantasy league, because whenever that happens, the player has a shit year.
I hope I get the number 1. I will.
I'm taking Josh Allen if I get the 101.
I hope I get the one just to stop that, because I will 100% draft a trashy. It doesn't even. I'll take the hit. I'll take the loss of the first round pick just to break the curse and get it over with. But the Ravens did improve their defense, though. They went out and got Max Crosby. Hold on.
Oh, God, yes. Well, yeah, that whole, yeah, so the whole Max Crosby controversy. He didn't pass this. Then this is the second time they've pulled that stunt.
They went out and got him, contract, everything pending, and then they're like, our guys.
Oh, he didn't pass his physical.
Our guys say you're not going to heal as fast as you told us you were going to heal. And now they're like, you know what? We're going to sign Trey Hendrickson for the same money, but with no picks.
Yep. They don't have to, because they had to give up 2 firsts to get Crosby.
So now it's like, it's similar. I don't think it's exactly the same money, but it's very similar.
Yes.
But yeah, and it's like, oh, well, now they got Trey Hendrickson, which I don't know.
Trey Hendrickson is good. He's no Max Crosby.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
You better hope Max Crosby doesn't play the Ravens, because Lamar's going to be running for his life.
I'm hoping that Max comes out and blows this year out of the water. Like, just out of spite. Just straight out of spite. But
give that dude more fuel right there.
Yeah, I know. And that's something he's going to feed off of.
Yeah, because if he goes out and gets injured the first game he's back, then they're going to be like, see, we told you.
He'll play. He'll play through it.
All right, the Cincinnati Bengals. So the biggest offseason signing that they have for their offense is they re-signed Joe Flacco, which I think is great. That's great for fantasy.
It is.
Because we know if Burrow goes down, we still have somebody that's going to hyper-target Jamar Chase.
Yep.
So that's all we give a shit about right there.
And allows enough of a passing threat to keep Chase Brown relevant. I mean, and a good relevancy. Like,
absolutely,
we saw last year when they had John Browning come in, or whatever his name is, how Chase Brown fell off, and then all of a sudden Flacco.
It's not John. Is it Kyle?
It was something Browning. Wasn't
it is Browning, but I can't think of his first name.
John. We're just going to go with John Browning. But yeah, and then once Flacco got in there, all of a sudden Chase Brown's a freaking top 6, top 5 running back.
Well, this is going to be Burrow's healthy year anyway, because he goes every other year.
Oh yeah, no. So definitely get your shares of Brown then, because it's going to be good. Yeah. Unless they go and do something stupid like draft a freaking running back in the first round, which I've heard might happen. So,
but they also gave Chase Brown. I thought they gave Chase Brown a new contract, but maybe I don't see it on this list, so maybe not.
I don't think they did.
It might have
been. They might have. I don't know.
Speaking of Brown, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. Despite the fact that I don't really want to talk about Cleveland Browns, but anyway,
I feel like this is going down the wrong way here.
So they also got a new head coach. They got Todd Monken, who was the OC for the Ravens the last couple of years before he came back, or before he was with Georgia, the Bulldogs. I like Todd Monken's offense. I think it's a good offense. The real question is who's going to run it? Is it going to be Shedeur Sanders? Is it going to be the Predator?
Deshaun Watson.
There it is. And we know it's not going to be Dylan Gabriel because that dude's hot ass. I mean, Deshaun Watson, by all accounts, is hot ass too, but he's making a crap ton of money.
Highly paid hot ass. Yes.
Yeah. But reports are, the offseason, Shedor's been putting in the work, and the other two have been absent from all the offseason non-mandatory things. So we'll see. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a great quarterback. I think he is the best quarterback they have, though.
Yeah, that's their best option, yeah.
And so, he is a Pro Bowler, so. Just think about it. Cleveland had 3 Pro Bowlers last year.
You can't take that
at
away
one
from
time
them.
on the roster. They had Flacco, Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders.
You can't take none of that away from them.
You should
take it away.
You should
definitely take them away. They don't deserve it, but you can't take it away. We've tried.
Yeah,
we petitioned to try.
I protested. But that's the big news. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Again, I do like the Todd Monken offense, so I hope they get something figured out because it is an offense that can put up a lot of points and produce a lot of fantasy value. The reports are they're going to take a wide receiver. They got the 5th overall pick, and I think they got. They have another they have 2 first rounds. They got the 5th, and I want to say like the 20-something, somewhere in the 20s. So, best guess now is they may take their a wide receiver early, the top wide receiver, which we'll talk all about that next week. I have not dove far enough into the prospects to start rattling off names of who's the best of whatever yet, but we'll get into that moving forward. But or they may wait and take one of the mid-tier lesser wide receivers later in the draft because they have a ton of other needs. So we'll see how that plays out.
They do.
All right, moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they also made a coaching change. They got tired of having a coach that doesn't ever get losing seasons and almost always makes the playoffs.
He stepped down.
Yeah. So Tomlin
it
is
wasn't
out.
Their choice. It was his.
Yeah, clearly. Mike Tomlin out in Pittsburgh. Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh. He is the headquarters. He is the head coach, and it will be his offense. He brought in Brian Angelichio or whatever. I've never heard of the guy, but he's going to be the OC. But it's Mike McCarthy's offense. It was Mike McCarthy's offense when it was run, even with oh my God! Never mind. I'm not even try to remember.
I'll let that one go.
The head coach that is now the head coach of Dallas, who was the OC for McCarthy. It was really McCarthy's offense, but I don't know, dude. My brain forgets everything all the time, and then I'll remember it when I get home and I'm laying in bed.
The hard part is like I don't know any of the coaches and stuff, so I can't even help. I just blink at you and pretend like I know, but I really don't. I just try to play along to see what would happen.
Brian Schottenheimer. Jesus.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I had to look it up. It was going to drive me crazy. So Schottenheimer was the OC. He's been OC for a long time, but when it was really, if you go back and watch how they played, it was McCarthy's offense. And then that's what got him fired because their offense was top 5, and they're like, "Nah, you gotta go, bro."
Yep.
So we still don't know for sure who's going to be their quarterback. I feel certain that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and be the QB.
Right now, it's Madman Mason Rudolph, man.
Well, Will Howard's there too, so we'll see. It's a second-year player. I don't know.
Another best of both.
I really thought it was going to be Kirk Cousins, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. But they did go out and get Rico Dowdle. This is interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about it. I like Rico Dowdle, but I also like Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
And they're 2 different styles. They're more of a thunder and lightning type backs now.
Yeah.
But Dowdle can play the passing game. It's not as though he can't catch the ball. He made his freaking nut in Dallas with pass catching.
Exactly.
Was what got him signed in Carolina. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, he's paid 2 year 12.25, so that's not sit on the bench money.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, they did lose Kenneth Gainwell.
They
too,
did.
So
that's going to be.
They released him, so I don't know that this doesn't really fill that spot because Gainwell's another one that's uniquely. He's not the same
he led
type.
that team in receptions. Gainwell did.
Exactly. It's that's because Aaron Rodgers has a noodle arm and can't get it past 6 yards accurately. But either way, yeah, it's definitely interesting to me because I have so many shares of Jalen Warren everywhere, and now I got to worry about where I have Rico Dowdle too because you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. So it could be good and bad at the same time.
Just like what happened to me.
Oh yeah, no,
I had that nothing has shaken my beers up, and I just opened this freaking beer and it exploded in my face.
yeah. That's how it happens sometimes. It was too excited.
It was very excited. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting. They also went and picked up Michael Pittman. They acquired him in a trade from the Colts. They got a 7th round as well. They gave up a 6th rounder. And that was in exchange. That's all they gave up. I didn't even realize that's all they gave up to get Pittman.
Yeah,
I guess because Colts really didn't want to have to pay Pittman because they ended up giving him. Steelers gave him a 3-year, $59 million. So I like Pittman. I like Metcalf. I think they're both great receivers. I think they can complement each other as well because Pittman's more of a possession type receiver. Metcalf's more of a down the field 50-50 guy. So I do think they can complement each other. I just wish they had a more competent quarterback to get them the ball consistently.
Yeah.
I don't know that this offense is going to be able to support two in the way that we want it to. There's a lot of pieces here. You got 2 running backs that you're going to want to get fantasy value out of. You got 2 receivers you want to get fantasy value out of. And you still got Freiermuth there who and we also know that Darnell Washington's there who freaking Aaron Rodgers loves, who stole targets last year. So I don't know. I worry that the pie is not big enough in this offense to get everywhere that you want it to be. But McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, that's where they began. That's where Aaron Rodgers began. So he's very familiar with the system. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Their defense is going to be great. So who knows? All right. Next team on the docket, the Houston Texans. The big move that they made is they went and got David Montgomery. I love this move. I think David Montgomery is going to be great down there. I think if you have him in fantasy, he is now literally the main guy. There's players. There's Dameon Pierce. There's the young kid that
Woody Marks.
There's Woody Marks, and then the young kid that showed up a little bit there towards the end of the season last year. The late round draft pick guy,
Jordan.
Yes,
yeah.
Jawar
Jordan. Yeah.
Yes, and so they have a pretty good room. But David Montgomery is, to me, he's the most talented of that room by a landslide.
Yeah.
And if you give him the bulk of the carries, I think he's going to be very, very good. He was traded from the Lions, who they got a O-lineman and a 4th round pick in return. So, what are your feelings? How do you feel about Monty?
Oh, I love this. I had Mixon. I had Mixon so many places coming into last season.
Yeah. Oh, they released
Mixon
Mixon
and everything.
Well.
Yeah. But I had no shares of any other part of that backfield, and I feel like it should get better now, which is I think it's gonna help CJ Stroud and their passing attack, because I'm not a huge fan of Woody Marks, but he was getting the work. So you gotta ride with the bell cow.
Yeah, he was a volume guy.
But now with David Montgomery, I mean, I feel like he could do more with less.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's
far more explosive.
It's definitely a big upgrade to the backfield, and not a Texas fan, but as a fantasy fan, you want all these teams to have as many available options to get you points, so that the drafts go easier and smooth. You can grab some of these people and benefit from it,
Yeah.
So David Montgomery actually benefits the entire team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as it adds extra pieces that could be potentially drafted early, as long as you feel that it's going to work that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love it because it gets him away from Gibbs.
Yeah.
It allows him to be his own, top fantasy scorer.
Yes.
When he's with the Lions, it was like he has these big weeks and he's on your bench because last week he only got 4 carries for 13 yards and a touchdown. He got you 7 points, but then this week he got 32 because he got 22 carries and 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's now it's more solidified that you put him in your lineup and you let it ride and you live with it. You know what I mean? So
I guess I should note that Dameon Pierce is with the Eagles now. As you were talking, I was thinking about the running backs. I'm like, I think Dameon Pierce is gone, and then I was like, I better double check that. So yeah, he is actually with the Eagles now.
That makes it. He seems like an Eagles running back.
Yeah.
like a Will Shipley or
Yeah.
somebody will hear of one game where he got a couple touches and that was it.
Yes.
And we won't hear no more from him. So
Yeah, so that's even better for Montgomery. I think, Woody Marks is the biggest competition. And again, Woody Marks is just a guy. He was very solid, but David Montgomery is explosive.
Oh, yeah.
He is a very good running back. He can play in the pass game very well. He can run the ball obviously very well. He's a hammer. And, he is thunder and lightning in one package. He doesn't have, so I really like that. And then you got Tank Dell's going to be coming back. So that's going to be a big boon for their passing game. And so I think that offense has potential next year. Of course, you got Nico Collins when he's healthy is one of the best wide receivers in the league. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they go. But I think David Montgomery is a very big add. And I think you're right in the sense that not only is he going to be good, but he's going to enhance everything
around. Yeah. And that's what I watch for a lot in the offseason when they make these trades and these pickups and stuff. You want something that's going to go to the team and affect other players on the team that you wouldn't necessarily consider.
Right.
Like you said, Tank Dell or Xavier Hutchinson or, one of these receivers or something. One of these guys are going to step up big.
Yeah, I think the rookie from last year, the tall one on the outside.
Oh, Higgins?
Yes, there it is.
I like Jaden Higgins too. I have
Jaden Higgins is going to be, I think he's going to be a solid receiver. I think he could be a Michael Pittman type player where he's just very solid with the potential to have very big games.
Yeah, I've got Higgins and I got Hutchinson a couple places, which he kind of flashes here and there, but I like Higgins a lot. I picked him up a lot of places last year.
All right, moving on to the Colts. They re-signed Daniel Jones, a 2-year, $88 million deal. Daniel Jones wanted a longer, long-term deal, but with him coming off of the injury and all that, but there's a lot of incentives. It says that it's worth up to $100 million with incentives and includes a $60 million guarantee. He gets $50 million in the first year. So, I mean, it's not like Daniel Jones is going to be missing any meals with this deal.
Yeah, no. So, and whether he deserves it or not to be questioned too.
I mean, he had
a great year last year.
He was amazing before he got injured last year. I will say towards the end, right before he got injured, it seemed like a little bit of the shine had come off. And their offense was floundering a bit, and then of course he got injured. But who's to say that they wouldn't have fixed that?
And worked it up and
got the train back on track. Yeah. They also, after they traded away Pittman, they decided that Alec Pierce is their guy.
Oh, he's two teams guys.
Yeah. They gave him a 4-year, $114 million deal, maximum value of $116. It includes $84 million in guarantees with a $60 million signing bonus. That's number one alpha dog type money for a first contract of being the number one guy for Alec Pierce. I mean, he did have a bit of a breakout last year. He did get over 1,000 yards. I just don't know that he's that type. He's a down the field guy. He's take the top off of defense. I don't see him playing underneath and doing all the dirty work it takes to be a true guy who's getting 130, 140 targets. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, even last year, his best year in the league total. I mean, his first year he had 78 targets. Last year he had 84 targets.
Right.
He caught 47 of this last year out of 87 targets. Or 84, excuse me. So, I mean, yes, he had 1,003 yards.
Right.
He had over 1,000 yards.
It was what's like his average catch?
11.94 per target, 21.34
that's
catch.
Insane.
Yeah, no.
20 yards. Yeah, that is not. You go look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Go look at like his average is not going to be 21 yards. It's going to be like 12 or 13 because he's catching all that across the middle, underneath.
Yep.
The out routes, and stuff like that. I just don't know if Pierce.
They paid this guy way too much in my opinion. I'm a big Alec Pierce fan. Like I liked him because he's sneaky, but he's also one in fantasy. It's hard to really judge because he's going to have big games. He's going to have no game. So
he's a guy that can catch 3 balls for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Exactly, and you need to know now that he's got to be
right.
That
I need
guy.
8 or 9 targets. That's what I need to be confident in a guy like Alec Pierce. I don't need to think, oh my God, I hope Alec Pierce catches an 80-yard bomb and makes my fantasy day.
Exactly.
And that's all I know him as. So I'm hoping that they know him as something different and that we're going to say, oh shit, well, I didn't realize Alec Pierce had that skill set because he's never shown it.
He has in 4 years. He's been in the league 4 years and he's literally.
So if he's just going to be the go Joe Long guy is still going to be the same shit. He's just going to be a lot richer doing it.
Playing backyard football he's getting paid like big numbers for, like you said, all around wide receivers. And he's a wide receiver too that can pull the defense back. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't even.
He's a better Ted Ginn.
That's a great comparison. He can get downfield. He can stretch it out, and sometimes you can get it to him. And most of the time, he's just going to pull defenses back to where you can dump it off.
He keeps the defense honest, and that's what he's been ever since he's been in the league. But they think different based off of that contract. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully they can get him 110 target. He's not getting 130.
Yeah,
he might get 100.
Shit, if he gets 100, that would be great.
Yeah, he can catch 50
He'll catch 50 for 1,200 yards.
Yeah. And 9 touchdowns instead of 6. Yeah, exactly.
It'll still be though. You'll be like, man, I played him all season, but like I had this 1 30-point game, but then I had to deal with 3 4-point games.
That's exactly what it's going to be like. Yep.
But they did go get Nick Westbrook-Akine, so hey,
man, gotta love that. That's a big ad. That's who's going to benefit from the signing of Alec Pierce right there.
And look, I didn't even realize Laquan Treadwell was still in the league, but they also signed him.
He's 100,000 years old, isn't he? Hold on,
he's probably one of those guys we think's old as balls, but it's like 27.
I feel like he's been here forever and ever. He's
I do
30.
Okay,
years,
so we're right.
So we're right on that one. Yeah, I'm like, I know.
You know who still isn't 30? DJ Moore.
I know. He's been in the year. He's been in a year longer than Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah, he's been in the league since Brady was a rookie.
Right.
All right. Moving on. We're moving to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, last year with Cohen as the head coach and offensive coordinator, that finally got the Trevor Lawrence experience that we've been looking for since he came into the league. We did not get the Brian Thomas Jr. experience, that we were hoping for last year. Mm-hmm. And there's been tons of rumors of trading him. We don't know what Travis Hunter is going to be. They're saying he's going to be a full-time defensive player. And then there's he's going to be mainly a defensive player. And then Travis Hunter comes out to Ian Rappaport's reports on what he's going to be. And he's like, where are you getting your information? Because none of this is real. So it's like, we don't know what he's going to be. But when he flashed as a very good receiver last year, the biggest thing that they've done in the offseason, which is intriguing because they got rid of Etienne, or Etienne left. They didn't re-sign him. They went and got Chris Rodriguez. I think Chris Rodriguez is a very solid running back. You also have Bashaw Tootin there. So, I think Bashaw Tootin has the potential to be a very good running back. But I think Chris Rodriguez is going to have value. It's a 2-year, $10 million deal, so it's not like they went out and said, hey, we're going to pay you a ton of money to make you the guy. I think they're hoping that Tootin is the dude.
Yeah.
But I do like that Chris Rodriguez went there because I like that offense and what he can do in that offense, I think can be fantasy viable. I'm talking like a running back 2 or 3 fantasy flex type.
Yeah. He's
play.
definitely an option that can ride your bench until you see a few weeks in.
And if pick him up off waivers, he could be a guy that gets you a ton.
Great cup. Because I felt like, to me personally, when Eckler went out with Washington last year, that Rodriguez stepped up even over whatever the guy's name is. Yeah, Bill Crosby. That's it.
Crosby.
Like, I felt like he was the better back. Now, when Crosby was given multiple opportunity, he did well. Don't get me wrong, but it took a lot for Crosby to be fantasy.
And there was another running back on that team on Washington last year that was getting in the mix. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was technically a 3-headed monster. You were always trying to figure out who's it going to be this week.
We were playing the Denver guessing game. That's what we were doing.
Exactly. the Denver guessing game with tight ends and with fucking running backs.
Exactly.
So, but that's really, they're just going to run it back. Again, there's still talks that they could trade Brian Thomas Jr. I expect a bounce back from him this year. I don't think it's going to be a bounce back where he's going to be a top 5 receiver like he was his rookie year, but I think he's going to be pretty solid. I think he's somebody you're going to be able to get at a value, especially in redraft, because he's going to fall. He's going to be the number 1 receiver. I mean, I know they have someone else, although they got Jacoby Myers, who I love. Jacoby Myers has always been our receiver since this podcast started, because he's always been a guy that finishes as a wide receiver too. Nobody ever talks about him. He's just your average wide receiver. But I think Jacoby Myers is very solid. But Brian Thomas Jr. is very explosive, and also Travis Hunter is uber explosive. It's just going to depend on how much they allow him to play receiver, on how much that's going to benefit you in fantasy.
Well, and then you got Parker Washington, who opened up midseason.
There you
finished
go.
It out
I knew there was
really
somebody,
big. Yeah, that's Parker Washington's the one to really watch. I mean, like, I like Brian Thomas Jr. and I like Travis Hunter, but I think Parker Washington's still falling off a lot of people's radars. Like,
absolutely,
he's
the value grab
exactly
in this room.
He did amazing.
Thank you for reminding me, because I knew there was one other guy, and my brain was not going to click all.
This is another like wide receiver room that's kind of like tough to really figure out, if that makes sense. Like, we talked about the Patriots, except the talent's a lot less on the Patriots than on here. But when you got Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, and then Travis Hunter, you got 4 potential
very viable
top talents like on the team, and it's like, who do you really go with and trust? And like Travis Hunter, he had some
and you
big
got
weeks.
Brenton Strange is going to steal targets.
He's going to come out and steal targets, yeah. And it's, Travis Hunter started flashing and then he got injured, and Brian Thomas Jr. missed weeks with injury and stuff like that. And I don't even know that. I feel like that held him back in the later part of the season, which opened it up for Parker Washington, but. So, and that's another thing you got to kind of play too. So, if Brian Thomas Jr. comes back healthy, do we think Parker Washington gets just as many opportunities?
Yeah, who's going to be the 2? Who's going to be the 1?
There's so much in the air with this. I mean, this is going to be a gut play. You're going to have to go on who you feel.
And Jacoby's a target guy. He's always your first down guy. He's third in Jacoby Myers. So, it's going to be very interesting. Part of me hopes they trade Brian Thomas. So they kind of clear up some of the fog of who's going to be, where the target's going to go, and how this is going to play out. Because if they do get rid of Brian Thomas, then it's fucking all go for Parker Washington.
Oh yeah, I think you'll still be able to sneak him in later than what you'll have to spend to get Brian Thomas or not, excuse me, Travis Hunter. Because there's a lot of people that are higher on Travis Hunter thinking he's still going to play it. So.
All right, we're going to move to the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there early. The Tennessee Titans are my dark horse team this year that could sneak into the playoffs and really make some noise in the NFL. I love what they've done with the coaching staff. I think Cam Ward is a lot better than what he showed statistically last year. If you look on the back half of the season, he had 10 touchdowns and 1 interception after being like straight cheeks. But once they got rid of, I forget who the head coach was, but when they fired him and everything changed, he became better. And he did not have talent. It was, a ton of talent at wide receiver that was consistent. So if you go look at the breakdowns of what Cam Ward did, despite everything that went on with Tennessee, it'll give you a lot of hope in what he could potentially do moving forward. They got a new head coach. They went out and got Robert Saleh. If you don't remember who he was the Jets head coach when they got Aaron Rodgers and that whole debacle. But he's a very good defensive coordinator. He was a very good defensive coordinator, which got him the job with the Jets. And then he went to the 49ers, was their defensive coordinator, and now he's back in the head coach seat. And then they got Brian Daboll. And for those of you who may not remember, Brian Daboll was the head coach of the Giants, who got them to the playoffs very, very quickly with Daniel Jones and a pretty shabby roster. There's a lot going on with that team that I don't think it was Daboll's fault. I do think Daboll is a very good coach. He was the offensive coordinator for Josh Allen for a large part of his early career with the Bills, and he runs a very good offensive system and with a lot of potential. And so I think that they're very competent coaching, far more competent than the coaching that has been there. I'm still a little hesitant about Saleh just based off of what happened with the Jets. But there was also a lot of things that was going on with the Jets that, I don't know that, like they bringing in Aaron Rodgers and then letting Aaron Rodgers, the GM allowing Aaron Rodgers basically to bring in his boys and all that bullshit that went on there. And then they were also on Hard Knocks, so you had all that fucking drama going on. So,
and then add to the fact that they're the Jets. I mean, you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, they're a shitty run organization.
Exactly. You got there's a certain stank on the Jets.
Absolutely.
That you can't just wash that shit off, man. It's there.
Yeah. And the Titans already have a fairly decent defense, and Saleh's going to make it so much better.
Surprisingly better than you would imagine. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how good their defense was last year because how much they lost.
Yeah.
But the offense, when they started picking up, all the games were so much better. It was very, I'm not going to say very little because Cam Ward did turn around, but it wasn't a huge improvement football wise.
Right.
The defense just held it up. So
yeah,
long.
yeah,
Their defense
absolutely.
Their defense is top.
And so it's going to make that better. And then there's a ton of reports that the Titans are going to take Jeremiah Love when they pick. I don't even want to guess what position it is, but I'm pretty sure it's in like the top 4 or 5. If they do bring in Jeremiah Love, it's going to basically squash Tony Pollard and any of the running backs there. But it's going to make that offense so much better if Jeremiah Love is who we think he is, which they're saying that he is potentially the best prospect since Bijan. So
they got the 4th overall.
4th overall. So they're saying that if they take him in the 4th overall, then it's going to squash everybody else because you don't take a running back at the 4th to make him sit behind Tony Pollard.
Exactly.
So it's going
to Tajay Spears.
Or Tajay Spears, yeah. So, but if they don't, I still think they're going to take a running back. They just may take one later instead, and who knows what they do at the 4. But to me, the Titans are a very sneaky team. In this division, you have the Jaguars and the Texans are going to be hard to overcome, but not impossible. Especially we see what the Texans can be. They can be good or they can be bad. The jury to me is still out on C.J. Stroud. So
but their defense is something to talk about too.
Oh yeah, Texans defense. I mean, there's a lot of good defenses in that division.
Yeah,
even Jacksonville's defense is very good.
Pretty good.
So, but yeah, so there's the Titans. There's nothing. Oh, one more. Wan'Dale Robinson.
That's a big add.
Yeah, that is a very big play. Wan'Dale is going to be sneaky to me this year. He is Timu Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult because, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the gold standard of that type of a slot type underneath receiver. And so to be just any percentage of that and considered in that same conversation, Wan'Dale's a guy who's been getting over 140 targets the last couple seasons. And so, even on a shitty Giants team last year with a rookie quarterback, he was pretty damn productive. And they signed him to a 4-year, $78 million deal, 38 guarantees. So that's not chump change. They're going to use this guy, and I think he's going to be very fantasy viable, and he's going to help Cam Ward progress because he's going to give him that underneath outlet.
I feel like that's the deal that Alec Pierce should have got.
Absolutely.
I mean, just say, I'm not part of this, but from an outsider looking in, hey, that's.
I mean, to be honest with you, if I was gonna give anybody, I would pay Wan'Dale more than Alec Pierce.
That's what I'm saying.
Based off of his skill set,
and
he's a 140 target guy.
His production for
Alec
the team.
Pierce is not a 140 target guy.
Exactly. Like the production and the possibility for the team, Wan'Dale's going to give you a better option, better chance than Alec is. And so for 114 to go to Alec Pierce and then Wan'Dale to sign for $78 million, it's insane to me.
Yes.
That disparity, it's so crazy. The NFL blows my mind every year. Nothing ceases to amaze me anymore except the NFL. So,
and a sneaky signing is Daniel Bellinger to the Titans. This guy has flashed at tight end.
Because Chick's gone. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Okonkwo's gone. So he's somebody that if you've got him, keep him. Stash him. Excuse me. Kylen Granson went there too as a tight end, but he's more of a blocking tight end. He has shown a little bit in the passing game, but nothing crazy.
So Gunnar Helm's the only person that Bellinger is going to be up and over, and he's still rookie. Last year was
I would put my money on Gunnar Helm just because he's a far more explosive athlete. But Daniel Bellinger is a very solid receiving tight end. So we'll see how that plans out. And I want to say Bellinger's probably a better blocker, so he might get more time on the field for that.
Yeah.
All right, on to the AFC West. Let's see. Nothing crazy that Denver has done except they went and got Jalen Waddle in a trade from the Dolphins.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. They gave up a 2026 fourth and in exchange, I'm sorry. Let me start at the beginning. He is acquired in a trade from the Dolphins along with a 2026 fourth in exchange for their 2026 first and a third and a fourth. So they swapped fourths and gave up a first and a third, and then they got
let me say steal
Jalen Waddle.
Steal, in my opinion, for
possibly
to get Waddle. I mean, I think this is a huge ad for this team.
It is. It kills a lot of other potential guys that we have been.
Everybody's been trying to get. Pat Bryant or the Troy Franklin.
Yeah, those guys that we've been
Marvin
waiting
Mims.
because
Well, maybe
Cortland
not.
Sutton's still there, and Cortland Sutton's going to play. He's the better receiver, so you're going to have Waddle and Sutton are going to be your main guys, and then everybody's going to be fighting. Everybody's going to be fighting for scraps.
You got Mims trying to stretch the field.
Yes.
And, that kind of stuff. Yeah, but which is good though. I mean, I feel like that Waddle and Sutton are similar in aspects of how they play, where they play.
Waddle's more of a speed guy. Sutton's more of a 50-50 guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm interested
Sutton's
to see
up in
where
age too, so it's probably going to be his last year.
Yeah, that's true. Sutton's 30. Yeah, he's been. Yeah,
and I think this is the last year of his deal too. So.
This could be more of a future thing too, as well. Trying to see where they play that.
Yeah, you're going to put him with the young quarterback, and Waddle's going to, hopefully they're going to grow together and do great things for Denver, is the idea. So
yeah,
but they re-signed J.K. Dobbins, so he's going to be there for a couple more years. I love J.K. Dobbins when he's healthy. He's a very good, very solid back. He's just at some point he's going to get hurt. So
I'm going to look now. I just want to see what the longest he's played in any season.
Last year,
like
it had to be last year.
I mean, as far as like consistent, I know he came back in a couple years. Like he played a little and then played a lot or whatever. But
yeah, I think last year was the longest season he's ever played.
Yeah. So his rookie year did nothing. He played 1, 2. I mean, he didn't play over 50% in any of those games. He didn't. Last year's really the only season he played. I mean, and he only played 10 weeks. He got injured in week 10. So. Right. I love J.K. Dobbins too. Don't get me wrong, but that's a hard.
So you look, if you got J.K., you better have R.J.
You need R.J. Harvey, yes.
So, but yeah, they're going to be good this year. As much as I don't like Sean Payton, he is a good coach. He runs a good offense, and they're going to be successful. And he's also going to talk shit about his players and other teams' coaches at some point during the season.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs. They went out and got their quarterback of the future, Justin Fields. They acquired in a trade with the Jets. They gave up a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
There was reports that there was thoughts that they were bringing Justin Fields in to be some gimmick guy and switch him up. And no, they came out and said that they think Justin Fields is a really good quarterback, and he's going to play quarterback for them. He's not going to be some gimmick type player. So we'll see. But the real big deal that they got was they signed Kenneth Walker to a 3-year deal, worth up to $45 million with 28.7. That's, for anybody who doesn't understand the NFL, that's insane running back numbers. That's like if you were the Alec Pierce of running backs.
Which I kind of feel like Kenneth Walker might be.
Yeah, Ken doesn't do a ton in the pass game, so that's he does lack that. But he is an amazing running back. We saw what he did last year with Seattle when he was healthy for most of the year, and
in all fairness, I mean, anytime Kansas City signs a pass catching back, they don't utilize them anyway. So it's best for them to just go out and get a running back.
Just get a hammer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kareem Hunt was probably one of their better ones of the later years, and he didn't do a whole lot in the passing game. And then they went and got the last 3 years. I think they've drafted a pass catching back, or what was it? I mean, not Pacheco. Pacheco was kind of CEH.
CEH was supposed to be the next guy, and then he was a 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah,
Pacheco was a late-round pick who just kind of, but he just they liked him because he punished the earth.
Yeah, well, he definitely ran with a vengeance,
as though the ground itself had offended him.
Yes, correct.
But so I do like the Kenneth Walker trade. I think it makes his value go through the roof. There's not you mentioned, so Pacheco's not there anymore. Kareem Hunt is still there for now. So
he got released.
Maybe he did. I haven't. I thought he was still there.
He may be, but I haven't.
But it boils down to this: Kenneth Walker's dude, and they're paying him to be the dude. So hopefully he gets utilized. Kelsey also re-signed. I guess he's going to play. It's not. I guess when you're engaged to a billionaire, it's like, oh man, we'll never know if we've got enough money, honey.
Yeah,
let me go ahead and get this one more contract.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we're stable.
It's crazy. Like I felt like last year he re-signed with them, or maybe it was the year before. This stuff starts to run together so much, it's insane.
Well, the thing is too is it's all fake contracts. It's like he did a 3-year, $54 million deal, but it's really a 1-year, $12 million deal.
They're like, we want to give you some money, but we got to make it look like we're going to give it to you over a long term. But in reality, you're going to get all this tomorrow.
Yes.
So,
But they're going to be good again. You know, Mahomes is going to be great. They're going to go out there and do the things. They finally got rid of Matt Nagy at OC, so they got rid of that, which he went to the Giants. But
yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. But KC, I think they're going to bounce back this year. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders, starting with their coaching staff, they went out and they got Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak has been OC in the Vikings, was OC in Seattle. He runs great offenses. He's very quarterback friendly. It's very fantasy friendly offenses. So I do like that. They went out and got Kirk Cousins. So we'll see. I don't know if he's got anything left, but I just want to. I want to find somebody who looks out for me the way that Kirk Cousins' agent looks out for him, bro.
I'm telling you, man.
This dude is first ballot agent Hall of Fame. He's the Michael Jordan of sports agents.
He might be the Tom Brady of sports agents.
He is 100%
in football, man.
It says it's really just a 1-year deal worth $20 million guaranteed, but it also includes a 2-year $80 million option for 27 and 28, as well as 2 void years in 29 and 30 for salary cap purposes. So just on the off chance, this is how good this deal is, on the off chance that Kubiak comes in and they have a great year, they somehow make the playoffs with Kirk Cousins, even though they're most likely going to draft a quarterback and to be their future.
Yep.
If they make the playoffs and they make a run, if they take the 2-year option, that's boom, $80 million right there.
He's like, he's going to play so hard this next year.
But hey, if he doesn't, if he shits the bed and they just send him packing after this year, he still made $20 million.
Yeah,
to just show up this year and play.
He might not even have to finish the year.
Yeah, he might not even start. Who knows?
Man.
You just, anybody who's bored, just go look at the history of Kirk Cousins' contracts, and then you're going to be like, God, that fucking agent's amazing.
Yeah, he's that guy is a rock star.
They went and signed Jalen Naylor as well. It is what it is. Jalen Naylor flashed a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. He's coming from the Vikings. Kubiak was with the Vikings. Him and O'Connell, and all that. They all come from the same offensive tree, which goes all the way back to the Shanahans. They all run this very similar offense, but Naylor knows Kubiak in the system and Kubiak knows Naylor. So it is something to think about, because there's not a ton of receiver currently with the Raiders that's dominant outside of Brock Bowers, obviously.
Yep.
So Jalen, now I'm not going to say Jalen, go out and get Jalen Naylor. He's going to be amazing. I'm just saying it's something to consider that he could be viable. And you may want to, just at least keep him on your radar. And if you got him on your roster, just, don't throw him away for chump change, because he could be something for you.
Sit back and see. Trey Tucker flashed, but freaking Dante Thornton flashed. I mean, and Michael Mayer's still there too. I thought they were going to end up trading him, but he's still there, and that's an option.
Yeah,
as well.
They may just put Bowers out wide and let Mayer play the true tight end. So, I would do it.
Crazy.
I would run. I mean, they're probably going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets.
They still they have Albert O too.
Yeah, fuck it. Just run tight ends.
Yeah,
man.
just run all tight ends out there and be done with it.
All right, moving on. The Chargers, they went out and got their OC of the future, which I do like. I think it's going to be great. Mike McDaniel turned down head coaching considerations in Cleveland, and I think he interviewed even with the Ravens, but he turned it down to be the OC of the Chargers. It's going to be, in my opinion, the best offensive coordinator that Herbert has had. And it's to see what Herbert can do with this offense, and they have the tools there already to run the offense that McDaniels wants to run. So I'm very excited for the fantasy potential of the Chargers offense this year. You get a Murray and Hampton come back healthy. You got those receivers out there, Ladd McConkey, the dude that can't catch.
Quentin Johnson,
there it
baby.
is. There it is.
Old Stonehenge Johnson. Some games.
Yes.
Some games.
We don't know if Old Man River is going to be back next year. He still hasn't made the decision. God, why is my brain just blanking?
You said Old Man River. Are you
wide receiver?
Keenan Allen.
Thank you.
When you said Old Man Rivers and the Chargers, for some reason I was thinking Phillip Rivers. That's all that's going through my head. And you said coming back, I'm like, wait a second, he didn't play with them last year, and he is Old Man Rivers literally.
He's literally Old Man Rivers.
And that's all that was in my head. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? He did not play for them last year.
Well, see, I also have a tendency to mix up players, so yeah,
that might be where I was going.
It's a hard time for you to be the co-host and try to discern my idiocy. So
it's a rightful thought process. It's just it's hard to work well.
I keep your brain healthy because my brain isn't.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely stays on top. It definitely stays on top.
But they still got not Torrey Horton. Who's the rookie they drafted? Because Torrey Horton's Seattle, right?
Yes, correct.
They drafted
Trey Harris.
Trey Harris. There's,
yep.
I get those two mixed up. But Trey Harris, maybe he can pick it up and be something. But
Rondé Gadsden too. I mean, he flashed and had some time last year.
Yeah,
so
tight end for sure.
I think that's a big. And they signed Charlie Kohler, which I know he's mostly a blocking tight end. But that's still interesting to me because it makes me feel like they want to utilize a Rondé outside of that normal blocking role, because in the beginning of the season that's what they played him as. A majority of it was that blocking and then get open, and then they started utilizing him as more as a pass catching.
Yeah.
So now they bring Kohler in to kind of take Rondé away from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean he's very athletic. Gadsden is. He's very. He is definitely a move tight end.
Yeah,
can play anywhere on the outside. So hopefully, and they got to shore up that offensive line. So a lot of it was injury based, but they get the O-line shored up. They get this offense instituted. Their defense is already pretty good. They could be dangerous, and it's going to be interesting to see what Mike McDaniels can do with that team.
True.
All right, we move to the NFC. We're going to kind of try to bang these out real fast. The Cowboys, they haven't done a ton, which is kind of their thing. They did re-sign Javonte Williams. They did pick up Sam Howell, which is interesting because we do know that Dak has a tendency to get hurt and miss a lot of time. They gave Pickens the franchise tag. There was also talks they're going to trade him, but I think he's probably going to be there this year. So we'll see how that plays out. But outside of that, they haven't done anything exceptionally crazy as of yet. So we'll move from them. The Giants. So the Giants have a new coaching staff. They went out and got the John Harbaugh, formerly from the Ravens. He is now the head coach there. And something I don't like is Matt Nagy is the OC there. So that's very concerning.
Yes.
We'll see. They picked up Calvin Austin at wide receiver, who kind of flashed a little bit with the at one point there was talks that Calvin Austin was the better receiver, the more possession receiver with the Steelers. So he's with the Steelers. I'm getting him mixed up. Who was with Cleveland that wasn't Jerry Jeudy? I was getting mixed up with him
last year.
Yeah, who's probably still there? Not Isaiah Bond. No, it's not Calvin Austin, but it'll be somebody. If you look it up, it's going to be somebody's name that either has a C or an A in it, and that's why I get it mixed up. Calvin Austin was with the Steelers.
Yeah, Calvin Austin was with the Steelers. That's what I was.
Yeah, there's another receiver with Cleveland that I get confused with Calvin Austin.
I don't. Maybe it's Cedric Tillman.
There it is. I knew it. I knew there was somebody. I probably should see a doctor.
I guess that makes sense. I
should probably see a doctor.
I mean, I could see that.
I might need to get my cognitive health checked at this point.
There's definitely something that needs to be checked.
All right, Isaiah Likely signed a 3-year, $40 million deal.
Love that.
Worth up to $47.5 with incentives, and he is not known to be a blocking tight end. So when you pay a tight end that kind of money who's not made their career off of being an amazing blocking tight end, then you want them to be an amazing receiving tight end. Harbaugh obviously very familiar with who Isaiah Likely is. I know that they think maybe they possibly had their tight end in the future, but I think Isaiah Likely is their tight end moving forward.
Yeah, no, I'm loving this so many ways. Like, I hate it because I want to trust it. I want to believe it 100%. But also I saw what Theo Johnson did last year, and there's that
Yeah.
What everybody talks about as far
Yes.
as like the camaraderie between, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's football and it's what people pay, and it's going to be out there. So you got to go with what you see. So
Yeah, and 2 tight end sets are really kind of the rage right now in the NFL. A lot of teams are running them, so they could still both be viable, but I think likely has a chance to be a top 5 type.
be a definite guy there.
Yeah, with this offense. All right, moving on from the Giants, we'll move to the Eagles. They picked up Andy Dalton in a trade with the Panthers to be their backup. They picked up Damian Pierce on a 1-year deal. They signed Hollywood Brown, 1-year deal worth $6.5 million. Elijah Moore, Dontavian Wicks. I mean, they really went hard on the wide receivers. They re-signed Dallas Goedert, but there's nothing crazy that they have gone out and done thus far, and they're rolling with they fired their OC. They did do that.
Yeah.
I should have looked up who the new OC is, but we'll worry about that later. We'll try to get through this. The Washington Commanders, they haven't done a whole lot yet. They did get Rachaad White. That's interesting to me. I'm not a big Rachaad White guy, but I do understand his value in the pass-catching game. So there's also talks that if he falls to him, Jeremiah Love could go to Washington, which I do like that, except for the fact that they have Jerome Ford and Rachaad White.
Yeah.
So both those guys could definitely still touches. They're not great, but they do demand
available options and everything.
Chika Okonkwo also is now with Washington.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, it kind of hurts.
And our favorite guy, Van Jefferson.
Man, I'm fucking loving the Traylon Burks, though. Sign him to another deal, man. He won me a championship last year, man.
Yeah, Traylon Burks, it's going to be crazy. He could be one of those wide receivers that it takes 5 years for him to finally hit the scene.
He's going into his 5th year. I mean, 4 years, 26 years old.
And there's really no number 2 receiver on that. I mean, I guess Debo is technically a number 2. I always forget Debo's.
It's hard to remember Debo's there. Yeah, I know.
But behind McLaurin, but we'll see. They did get Larry Tunsil, which is very good because that dude is amazing.
Yes.
All right, Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
They just basically have been stand pat.
Well, they got rid of DJ Moore.
I mean outside of that, but that does open up that opens up a ton of targets for moving forward with Luther Burden and Odunze and Loveland and all that. So, I think they're going to be a very interesting team next year. And I think Luther Burden is going to be sneaky.
I think you should definitely go out and grab him. I mean, he did good last year in the absence or non-targeted DJ Moore. I mean, because I felt like
DJ Moore was like an afterthought of this offense last year. He
fell apart last year. And I don't know if it's him. And I don't know if this was like a shadow to what to come, kind of deal, or I don't know what it was.
Maybe Ben Johnson just didn't like his skill set. Who knows how it all played out?
It's so tough to figure out. You're just guessing at every point in the mark. So,
all right.
I love Colston Loveland. Go grab him everywhere. Draft the shit out of that guy.
Detroit Lions, they went and got Isaiah Pacheco with a 1-year deal. I don't care. I mean, he's not as good as David Montgomery, so he's not going to steal nearly as many touches from Gibbs.
No.
He'll be somebody that in a pinch, in a bye week, you can throw and hope he gets you a touchdown, But outside of that, I don't think there's a ton.
He might be okay to draft in best ball, just on the off chance that he does get a little bit of that rest work that Gibbs. Yeah. Because, Gibbs will get that.
A late round best ball pick.
Gibbs will get that 40-yard rush and get tackled at the 3-yard line and be sitting on the side, and then all of a sudden that's when Monty would come in and
possibly. Who the fuck's going to catch Gibbs if he gets in the open field like that?
Well, I'm just saying, I know there'd be a couple times, there could be an off game, whatever. But
Greg Dortch also now with the Lions signed a 1-year deal, so.
Well, so much for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Green Bay Packers, they have done Jack Diddley squat in the offseason thus far. So moving on, Minnesota Vikings, they haven't done a lot except signing Kyler Murray.
They got a little. Yeah. Or wait, they signed a little. I don't know what the term is.
They signed Kyler Murray, and initially they're like, "Yeah, he's going to come in and compete." Now, if you hear O'Connell talk, it's just about, I can't wait to see what Kyler can do with this and how Kyler's going to get the ball there. He doesn't even talk about 9 anymore,
as he shouldn't.
They also re-signed, and in a revised contract, Aaron Jones. There was talks they were trying to trade him and they were going to release him, and then I guess he was like, "I'll take less money. I just don't fucking make me leave."
And they're like, "Hey, well, you know what? We'll put Jordan Mason in." And he's like, "Okay, I'll take less money. That's fine." And they're like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah. So it's gonna be great. I look. I'm low key think Kyler Murray's about to have a really good year. With a competent quarterback, this is a very good system. And Kyler Murray can be a competent quarterback. O'Connell's a very good quarterbacks coach, and Kyler Murray is a very talented athlete and has shown that he can play even with shitty Arizona teams.
Yes.
So this will be the best team and coaching staff that Kyler Murray has had since he's been in the NFL. So we'll see how that pans out. All right.
And definitely watch who they draft. I think they're going to go after a wide receiver in the top 3 rounds. And Jefferson and Addison are great, don't get me wrong. But as we talked about with what's his name earlier who went to the other team, there's going to be somebody that's going to flash, and there's nobody on the roster
What's
right
his
now.
face that went to the other team?
Yeah, you know who
That
I'm talking
guy,
about.
yeah,
You know. Osborne, KJ Osborne.
No. Naylor.
Naylor was there too. That's another one. They're both the same. But you know, they always have that sneaky receiver that just out of nowhere just shows up and has some big weeks and stuff. Somebody to look for, anyways. But
yeah,
definitely a team to watch, because right now Ty Felton is the number 3 receiver there.
Yeah, but it's his second year. I need Ty Felton to be good. Okay? I made some questionable trades to get him and Torrey Horton last year, and neither one of them have paid off for me. And I need to be able to go back next year and look at my trade history and go, all right, it doesn't look as bad now.
Well, I just won't bring up your trade history anymore.
Please don't, dude. That is, you want to get humbled? Go look at your dynasty trade history.
Yeah. No, I don't look at mine at all. What sucks the worst is when you're trying to work a trade out with someone and you go look at a player and that you're interested in now, and then you see you traded him away 2 years ago for pennies,
bro.
Oh no, it's that's the worst feeling. I can't even do
Amon-Ra
it.
still haunts me to this day, dude. Amon-Ra still haunts me to this day. I traded him away for
Phillip Rivers or something.
No,
right?
no. It was a second round draft pick and a tight end.
Oh yeah,
it was a good tight end, but it was a second round draft pick and a tight end, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
Now I look at it, I'm like, that was
you could have built your team around this guy.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to go down that road. All right, the Atlanta Falcons. Well, they got their quarterback of the future, Trevor Siemian, signed with the Falcons. No,
wait a second. He's right-handed. He's not going to play.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of left-handed quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa has signed a 1-year deal worth the veteran minimum, and I think a lot of that's because he's still getting paid by Miami. Yeah, so he's like, just pay me $5. I'm still getting paid.
Yeah, it would be all right.
They also got Brian Robinson, which is just good for the cuff.
Oh, it's also good for the fantasy people who are mixed up with all the B. Robinsons out there. Now they're on the same team.
Now they're on the same team, so as long as you get them both, you'll be fine.
Exactly. Make sure you draft both B. Robinsons and you'll be protected.
I would highly suggest drafting the B. Robinson that's named Bijan earlier, because if you don't, if you have the number 1 or 2 pick and you draft Brian Robinson, you're not going to be able to get Bijan.
Exactly.
But if you draft Bijan, you might be able to get Brian.
You'll still be able to get Brian. Yeah, you'll definitely be able to get Brian.
I should mention that they do have a new coach, Kevin Stefanski. He brought his OC with him, who was the tight ends coach up there, Tommy Reese. But it's going to be Stefanski's offense.
Yes.
I like Kevin Stefanski as a coach. I think that he is a competent coach. It's, again, one of those situations where you're in an organization that is shit historically. And, I do have some questions about Stefanski's beef with certain players. It seems like at times, like, why did he play Gabriel so much last year when he should have been playing Shador?
Yeah.
What was his problem? What is the beef between him and Baker? So there could be some issues with that. But who knows? I think overall, but as his system, I do like his system. I think it's a very good system. And if you get competent players, and the Falcons have a ton of offensive talent, obviously.
Oh yeah.
They got to get the quarterback situation sorted. But they have, Drake London and Kyle Pitts, who showed last year that, hey, I can be pretty good.
Yep.
Obviously, Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
they have a really good defense. So, we can see they actually I just saw the Jahan Dotson 2-year deal worth $15 million, 10 of it's guaranteed. That's not chump change.
No, that's kind of crazy to me too, because I was big on Dotson when he was drafted to Washington, and I don't know if it was his talent or locker room or if he was just underutilized in general, but I like Dotson.
He flashed his rookie year. Coming out his rookie year, that next year during the draft, everybody's like, get John Dotson. He's going to be the number 2 behind McLaurin. And then it was like, nah, we're not going to use him.
We're not even going to look at this guy. But Olamide Zaccheaus is back home.
Oh God, and he
back at home again.
It's Olamide Zaccheaus, or how I like to refer to him as the target thief.
Yeah, oh yeah, he is Percy Jackson in the target thief. You're 100% correct.
That's like I'll be watching a game and I'm like, why are you throwing it to Olamide Zaccheaus when you have all these other players?
Yep.
Oh my God.
But that's what's going to happen is Drake London's going to get 10 targets and Olamide Zaccheaus is going to get 39. So that's how we're just going to have to live with that.
All right, the Carolina Panthers, they haven't done a ton. They did get Kenny Pickett. Whatever. I guess they had to replace the Amish rifle and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
A.J. Dillon is interesting to me. I don't think there's a lot left with A.J. Dillon in the tank as far as like taking over a backfield, but
yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Booty Cheeks could step up.
He's still 247 pounds. He could roll through some people out there.
John Mechie's also interesting to me. He was a second-round draft pick who then had cancer, went through that. He flashed a little bit with Texans, but by the time he recovered from all that, they had already rebuilt that wide receiver room, and he was nowhere near the top of it. So it's going to be tough here, too, with Tet. But Coker being the number 2, there's really not a solid number 3 right now for the Panthers. So Mechie could find himself some playing time. But outside of that, not a ton going on with Carolina. The Saints, I didn't realize the MILF Hunter was with the Saints now. Zach Wilson signed a 1-year deal. I had no idea until just now, this very moment. But they did get Travis Etienne, signed a 4-year, $52 million deal. I think that's good for Travis. The offense that Kellen Moore is going to run there is very friendly to running backs. Etienne is a very good all-around running back, and we all are pretty sure that Kamara is toast.
He is definitely a good Kamara replacement. I would say. Like, I'm not going to say he's shown me that he can 100% be Kamara in his prime, but
no,
he's definitely a Kamara he's definitely a good Kamara.
And Kamara is a shell of his former self. He's still there, so we're gonna have to contend with him getting touches still.
He's at the 30 mark. This is the downhill speed. If you're not Derrick Henry, this is where it ends.
Yes.
So I see the progression last year. It was a full on tank. It dropped. It plummeted. He went from 9 the year before to 48, in PPR. So it's like, this is the end of Kamara, and that proved it.
That deal at 4-year 52.
That was done.
Yeah. And then I did have hope for Devin Neal. Thinking that he could be a guy, but it is what it is with these late round picks. It's like we see it all the time. It doesn't matter unless you are just unbelievably exceptional. Even if you have decent showing, if they have an opportunity to get a top tier back, they're going to throw you to the fucking trash heap.
Done. Yeah, I'm surprised they're still on the roster. He's just like, we don't even need you. We have Etienne, dude. Like, did you see that? We signed him.
A sneaky ad in Dynasty would be Noah Fant. I mean, the chances of him being good there are slim, but again, this is a Kellen Moore offense who does like to get the ball to the tight end, and Noah Fant is a very good receiving tight end. He is straight cheeks at blocking, though, which has been a big issue why he can get on the field. But if they use him in these 2 tight end sets strictly as receiving, he can be a very good ad. There he is, Jake Browning, not John Browning.
Oh, see, I was close.
It was started with J. How do you get names mixed up with just the first letter, dude?
So
only
weird.
Dumb people do that.
Well, and also he didn't rank high enough in my memory bank to care about trying to figure it out. John Browning, that's all you are to me, guy. You're whatever first J name I come up with.
Jake Browning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the big signing in the offseason thus far was Kenneth Gainwell.
Yep.
Rashad White is out of town, and Gainwell is basically Rachaad White, but a little bit better, I think. I get, he led the in receptions with Pittsburgh last year. He signed a 2-year, $14 million contract. It's not huge money, but it's not chump change. That's $7 million a year. So they expect to totally use him. I mean, Bucky's still the guy, but I mean, again, Bucky was a late round draft pick who was injured last year. Now, Bucky was exceptional, which is why he's a late round pick that doesn't immediately get chucked to the trash heap. Yeah. But if he doesn't come out, my point being is Kenneth Gainwell could really steal some valuable touches.
Oh, yeah.
And if Bucky goes down, Kenneth Gainwell could become very valuable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
except for a few touchdowns here and there that Sean Tucker's going to vulture. So
that's fair. That is 100% fair. All right, moving on. The Arizona Cardinals. They are basically the Jets of the West, but they do have a new head coach, Matt LaFleur, who was also going to the OC. His brother is the LaFleur that is Green Bay. So, he also comes from the Shanahan school of offenses. So they're going to run that same type deal. Right now, they're saying Jacoby Brissett's their QB. I think they're in full tank mode this year. They want to tank for a better quarterback next year. But, we're looking for value. We're looking to see if somebody can break out. And then they signed Tyler Algier to a 2-year, $12.25 million deal. That's going to be interesting.
Speaking of tank...
yeah. The problem that I have though is Connor's coming back, but Connor's old as freaking Methuselah.
Yep.
He's in his 30s. I'm pretty sure he's even older. I think he's like 31.
He's 30 right now.
Yeah, so I don't know when he turns 31, but he'll get there this year.
We'll get the card. We'll get the invite to the party.
But it does put a little bit of hurt on Trey Benson. That's the thing that I don't like. But
the good news is they got rid of all the other trash behind it. There's no Amari Demercado, there's no Michael Carter, there's none of that. That was kind of like, who's going to be our guy after we had the injuries last year? And it's like nobody's going to be the guy. And so at least now it's like, Benson goes down, Algier, I think Algier kind of steps up in this.
Yeah.
The dude doesn't fumble.
Algier's solid, dude.
Super secure with the ball.
He might take the starting job.
He could. I mean, I'm sure they re-signed Connor, so there's still going to be that floating over, but I think it could be more of a mentor thing too. I mean,
well, Connor's the Cardinal that he's the nostalgia type thing too. That, whatever. All right, moving on to the next team, the Los Angeles Rams. They have not done a ton in the offseason. They don't really need to. So they're just basically running it back.
Well, I mean, some of the Rams have done a lot in the offseason. Speaking of Puka, but we'll get into all that.
Hey, good luck with your recovery, Puka.
Yeah, no. Hey, best of luck. Best of luck.
The San Francisco 49ers, they went and got Mike Evans.
Yeah, they did a lot.
This is huge.
That's big.
Yeah, 3-year deal. Mike Evans in this offense. It's going to be interesting. They also signed Christian Kirk, which is, I had no idea until just now that Christian Kirk was also there. But I love this Mike Evans deal. I think that, his style of play suits what they do. They play a lot of get the underneath, get the ball down the field.
Yeah.
They throw a lot of seam routes, they throw a lot of 50-50 balls. And it really, this is what they've been needing. And so I love this thing. I think Mike Evans has still got a season or two in his bag. So.
This is what makes me mad though. So we're looking at Mike Evans now, Gibbon, aged, coming off of an injury. He came back last year, so we know he can still do what he does. But contract, $42 million, $60 million with incentives and everything for a 3-year contract. That's half of what they're paying Alec Pierce at the Colts right now to be a third of the fucking receiver. Mike Evans is legend material, and we got to worry about.
It comes back to Alec Pierce contract.
I'm just this is why I say I don't understand the NFL. The money that goes into this, and you want to believe that it's because of So you got to go out and get Alec Pierce. You have to. There's Only thing we can do is just draft him and hope for the best. Hold our breath. That's all we got to do.
Well, I think the thing is too is age thing. Evans is the twilight of his career, so
he's 32. He's in the 13th year. I mean,
and so it's like maybe he's got a year, maybe two left. If you probably look at that contract, the last year is probably a void year. Maybe the last 2 years are void years. So But I think for this year, if you've got Mike Evans and you're running an old dynasty roster and you're like, I just needed one more run, guys. Give me one more run. I think Mike Evans can give you that one more run.
Or if you traded a fucking early second and a receiver to get him last year to make a run and he died mid-trade, then you're like, oh, thank God I get another shot. You know,
one more chance.
Just saying. Not that I did that. I didn't do that.
But in one league, I gave you a first for him like 2 years ago. I got one good year out of him, and then he died last year, and so I need one more good year.
Well, that's like last year. I made the trade in Bling with Rob to get him, and then he got injured that week before the trade could go through. And I'm like, you know what? I'll honor it. I'll stand by it. We'll go through this. I'm fine with it. And now I won last year a championship. Maybe he helps me win a second championship this year. That's
true.
the gold that you got to hope for. So,
all right, another team that didn't do a ton as far as pick up new players was the Seattle Seahawks, but they did sign JSN to a 4-year, $168 million deal, 120 guaranteed. Now that's real alpha money, but it's still only $50 million more than what Alec Pierce got.
I'm just saying, and that's why they couldn't do anything in the offseason and get anybody else. No, I'm gonna ride that till the end of it. We're gonna, it's crazy.
Oh God,
I'm gonna make note. We're gonna bring it up at the end of the season, whether it's viable or whether it means anything or not. It's gonna be brought up just so everybody knows.
Well, there it is. There's the breakdown of all the pertinent moves. I mean, maybe not all of them. We probably missed. I mean, we're just average. We probably missed a few.
And pertinent, so subjective.
Exactly.
I mean,
well, look, we're using big words right now, which means
we're pretending to use them. I don't know what it means. So.
Well,
but I'm over here just hoping that nobody catches on that I'm making stuff up.
I feel like we used them right, but I also feel like that maybe if we're lucky, we have just average listeners too, and they're all going to be like, "Man, these guys are wicked smart."
Well, that or they're going to pause the fucking podcast to research the words we're using and forget to come back, and we're not going to get our listens.
Well, next week we're going to try to break down, or we're going to start breaking down the rookies, and try to get our idea of who these guys are before the draft happens, as we creep ever so closer to that draft, the rookie draft.
So close.
So hopefully life doesn't. Excuse me. Belching, burping, all that. But hopefully life doesn't get too much in the way that we can get some shows done next week and start moving forward.
Yes.
And then after the rookie draft, we'll talk about what happened, and then we're going to go into a series of, we're going to do a short series about dynasty rebuilds and our philosophies and stuff on that, because that's really a lot of what we do, what we enjoy doing is taking orphans and ripping them apart. We like people who flip houses. We like to try to flip dynasty teams.
Yeah, the worse the better. It's so much more enjoyable to take a team that's,
especially if I can get like 1 or 2 years already paid because of how bad that roster is. That's even better.
Oh yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Or as long as I can win in other ones and I have money to afford the other ones, I'm fine with it too. So
yeah, so we're gonna kind of do a series on that and give our perspective and whatnot. But before we do all that, we got to get through the rookies, and we got to give our just average breakdown of that. So we shall begin that. I'm not going to give a day because right now everything's kind of free flowing, but someday next week we shall break it down. We have other obligations of things we do, so we just got to work it into our schedule at this point before the season starts. So
just know that next week you will hear our voices and there will be something informative, whether it's worth anything or whether it's pertinent, because I want to use as many times as we can.
Yeah, that's the word of the day.
Yeah, then you'll figure that out when you listen.
Allegedly.
So, look, it's like I say, if anything we say or do helps you get to the average place in your leagues, that means we did our job. Because Matt, when you finish average,
you don't lose and you don't finish last.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
So, well, you do kind of lose, but you don't finish last.
Yeah,
So-
but like losing subjective too. I mean,
I feel like it isn't, but it can be.
I'm just saying. I'm
Well,
just saying.
we need to talk about what subjective means.
Oh, it's the same thing as pertinent, right?
Yes, absolutely. So y'all be pertinent and subjective, and we'll talk to you
Please.
next week.
Later.
Holla.